Makesh is asking, if I do not have material participation, is there any benefit of acquiring a short-term rental as opposed to a long-term rental from a tax perspective? Yes and no. So you have to like, who has been around what I teach for any extent of time knows that I always give this analysis of the dollar that you put in to work for you. So every dollar that you invest has to produce one of the three things for you. It could produce appreciation, it could produce cash flow, or it could produce a tax write-off. That's all the dollar can give you. Okay. Now, when you invest in real estate, does it matter necessarily if it's long term or short term? Yes or no? So you're looking, I'm not going in for a short term or long term. I'm looking, what am I trying to achieve? Once you can get very clear, what are you trying to achieve? It's easy for you to choose the tool. Short term, long term, I could care less. I'm looking for a benefit. What's the benefit? So people go to a short term because either they want higher profits or they might want a higher tax write-off. But knowing what you're looking for, it gives you a clear guide of what do I do with this piece of property? Does that make sense? So let me say that again. Every dollar you put in, you put it out in the world to do something for you. It has to come back with, it has to produce appreciation, cash flow, or tax write-off. Can you think of anything else that the dollar that you put into work for you? Can you think of anything else that the dollar can produce? Those are the only three things that the dollar can give you. Okay. Real estate is a perfect example because it can give you all three, not in the same proportion, not all at the same time. So a short-term rental, let's analyze that. A short-term rental gives you a higher cash flow because you're renting it more often. It's just higher rates, nightly rates and whatnot. So it can give you higher cash flow. Appreciation stays the same. So with higher cash flow, it gives you higher tax write-off, maybe. Okay, depending how you have it set up. In exchange for that, like let's review the long-term rental. A long-term rental, what does it give you? It gives you steady cash flow, not necessarily the highest, it depends. Appreciation is the same as a short-term rental, and it can gives you it may give you write-off, tax write-off, or it may not, depending on what kind of income you have. How are your sources of income? Who holds your real estate? Is it you? You already have high income? Is it you hold it in a corporation? You hold it in a partnership, in an LLC, in a trust, whatever the case might be. Whatever hold, like you may not get the tax advantage today. You might only get it when you actually sell it. So it depends. So when we're talking about short-term versus long-term, it's a tool. So real estate, number one, is going to give you appreciation if it's a good piece of property. If not, sell it out. 1031 it. The biggest mistake people make is holding on to real estate much longer than they're supposed to. Real estate loses its ability to give you, for example, there's some areas, and we've seen now San Francisco is going down like drastically in terms of appreciation in some of the areas. They have, we have people with like great properties who have been doing very well, commercial properties, residential, because of the homeless situation. They cannot even function in those areas. So what's the likelihood of that property appreciating a whole lot unless there's some real change in the actual, policy of the city, right? Or the county. So with that in mind, you also want to think about the economic benefit. Like, do I have an economic way of this property appreciating? If not, you might want to just exchange it. So I hope that makes sense. So from a tax perspective, it depends on your situation. You might have the best use of a short-term rental, especially if you have a spouse who's actually involved, who's actually doing different things, or you might have a benefit from a long-term rental. If you're a real estate professional, it really doesn't matter what you do. Okay. So I hope that answers your question.